An American company called Penstar has just released their own unit. This is incredibly thin at only 5.5 millimeters, is made with amazing materials, and is boasting a whopping 6,000 milliamp battery. The unit supports 37 different document formats, has multiple transfer methods including Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and QR code, and even comes with an integrated Office suite software, so you can edit Word, Excel, or other documents directly on the unit itself. So what other skinned UI elements does Penstar bring to the table? And how do they handle the operating system when it comes to making this their own? Let's dive in and find out. Show you the contents of the box really quick before we get into the review. Now you do have all this information right here. Thank you for being all English, of course, and thank you to Penstar for sending us this sample. We're just going to look at everything just to get an idea of how it's different from the hand-on device. You see they do have a nice box with a embossed metallic mirror finish. That's actually really nice. And let's see what we have in terms of the pen. Now this pen is using the latest technology of digital stylus. It actually has 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity. They have logoed their pen as well, and we're going to crack it open really quick just to see the contents. So we have two different types of tips. We have two palm tips and two felt tips to give you different feel. Now we're really going to be looking at the pen when we get into the review, because that much of a difference of pressure sensitivity is something we haven't seen very often aside from companies like Hanvon. Now we do have some additional tips as well, which is really nice, and this is taking a page out of the book of Remarkable, the way they kind of have it on this slab here. So you do have 5 up top and 5 on the bottom. Unfortunately, they are all plastic palm. They're not felt combinations. So let's look at the device itself. This is a very nice unit. We've seen a lot of manufacturers get rid of physical buttons, but Penstar grabbed the right unit for the job, because this thing has a ton of buttons and they're all customizable as well. There you have a Penstar logo up top and a nice kind of faux leather with a felt combination dual tone and a stylus loop on the side. The screen is very thin because they have actually removed the capacitive touch layer, which means that the screen is very near the top, and we say that a lot in all of our videos. You'll see that there is not a tremendous drop shadow around the side. In fact, the top is almost flush, which you don't really see that often, and it's very evident when you turn it like this. You'll see that this device, unlike bigme and Onyx that have huge drop shadows, this one is very much at the surface, so you're not really going to run into any issues when it comes to the pen touching the actual screen, which is the point, because this has the most pressure sensitivity range in the game currently. When you first turn on the device, you are going to have a pretty strong learning curve, not because of the OS, but because of this. As we said, there's no capacitive touch. You must use this pen. Now, there's a good and bad side about the buttons, is that you don't know what any of them do. It's a complete kind of experience. So for example, you tap the top one, it opens up the quick set that tells you what they do. But as you edit these, as you move things around, for example, home is the second from the top, which may not be intuitive, so you might want to put home at the top, but they're not labeled, and this palette is not there all the time. So as you edit them and move them around with this incredibly extensive list and pages of combinations, thousands and thousands of countless combinations, you do have to remember in the end which one is what, or else you're gonna have to always go and refer back to this palette, and every time you change it requires a new set of learning. Outside of that, let's take a look at the unit. You have this card system, e-notes, bookshelf, email, and apps. Same things kind of on the side, notes, books, files, and apps. Files is going to be your file explorer, so as you click on this, you're going to be able to search for things, and you can find all of your things in My Documents. Home is going to be your home. Notes is going to be your notes. We'll show you that in a minute. And remember, you got to remember where those buttons are. That one's the home button for now. And if we go to apps, this is a very important one, because you can sideload in your own apps via APK files, you see we have Chromium, which is Chrome, and Penstar, which is their own Penstar application. If you go to My Settings, you'll see that Hanvon is notorious for tons of settings, and in fact they do have a lot. They have upgrade, online for apps, they have local upgrade, temporary file, they have a bunch of reading settings. Feel free to pause the video at any point in time. The hitbox is something you're going to have to get used to because it's not that accurate, and you see you have a bunch of general settings as well, button settings, stylus settings. You can do calibration, you can do stylus firmware upgrades, so make sure you have this pen always on hand. No, it does not require any batteries, of course. And if you go to storage, you'll see that although you do have 32 gigs, without basically anything loaded on here, you only have 22 available. So 10 gigabytes is just for the operating system itself. And as you can see here, they're using the N10G series. We've used a lot of pens in our day, and this one feels tremendous. This is a high quality pen. I love the tips. I love the selection of tips. I love this hidden canister. It's very remarkable marker signature of them to do that. It's all very nicely weighted as well. The front of the pen is pretty nicely weighted. The back adds a little bit of weight as well. And the interesting thing is the transmitter doesn't go all the way through. For example, this is the eraser, which is a reverse connectivity, and this is a positive connectivity. So this will make the line, this will reduce and remove the line, but they're not connected, nor do they have to be. It's just wired kind of cross from each other. This whole pen is absolutely gorgeous. It works perfectly well. Unfortunately, it doesn't snap to the side of the unit, but it doesn't have to because, as we said at the top of the hour, the pen has a slot for it like so. The slot is always going to be there. You'll never have to lose the pen. But a very important thing, again, coinciding with the fact that there is no capacitive touch on this, is that obviously you need to use the pen, but don't forget, you need to use the pen. Don't lose this pen. If you lose this pen, you are no longer able to interact with the device and are completely reserved and restricted to these buttons, which can't go everywhere. When you start a new note, you get all of this interesting stuff that pops up. You get the title, you get the line size, the brush size, the stroke, eraser, etc. And you can just skip over this if you want, like so. Now, here's the note-taking experience. This is really exciting stuff because this has a very high level of pressure sensitivity. Let's just check it out. That is a tremendously high quality note-taking feel, and the graphite tip is wearing down pretty fast, which is actually a good thing. There needs to be some sort of consumability as a trade-off to give you a good writing experience. And the eraser is pretty solid too. It does do the full erase, but you can change that by going to the eraser here, and you can do nib eraser, you can do by pixel, range, erase all, etc. Now there's something that I want to show you. Don't be alarmed. Look at these settings when you tap on the pen palette. That is a lot of settings. Now you do get colors as well, as you see here. Now these colors obviously don't show up on the screen because the device doesn't have the capabilities of showing us color, but when you export, it's going to be that range of color. Now there's a good and bad thing. The differential of gray is pretty slim, and what I mean is that green, which you'll have to remember as green, is the same as that red, which is roughly the same as the blue and purple. It only starts getting different when you go to something like orange, which is the same as chartreuse, and yellow is the lightest one. So as you draw on the screen, you just have to keep in mind that it's a massive learning curve once again, that after it renders and after it's down, you got to remember what color is what, if color is something you want to take advantage of. You'll see that almost looks like an afterthought, but that is the yellow we used. But that's neither here nor there. Let's check out what we have. Pencil, ballpoint, brush, pen, calligraphy, and marker. You also get a starting point of line size and a line example up top. Now again, it has a great deal of pressure sensitivity, which is very evident when you go to something like a full-blown brush, which we showed you with a regular black pen. So you can make these very small hairline lines. It's not very fast. You see, there's actually, when I make this line, you'll see that there's about a delay right there it follows the pen and it lags behind. So it's not the fastest unit on the block, but man does it feel great, and man does it feel like you're actually writing on the page. This is as close of an experience as we've seen, because they don't have a capacitive layer, they don't have a glow light layer, they don't have a thick gel layer like a Supernote. This is, you're writing right on the page. If this was just a little bit quicker, it would be darn near perfect when it comes to that. You have the lasso tool, which gives you the ability to box certain elements, and you can move them around, you can stamp them, you can copy, paste, and you have insert as well. So we'll add a new page and we'll try to go to an insert here. When you click on insert, you get a bunch of different things. You get arrow slash, ellipse, circle, triangle, arrow. I like arrow slash, for example. You can go like that and you can instantly draw an arrow. So it all kind of happens really quick. If we go to our pen and we draw a smiley face with a circle, we can go to our insert and we can draw a line directly to it. So it's a very quick experience, although the rendering and planting of the actual elements is a little bit on the slower side, but it is still very nice. You can insert image, insert text, and you can paste certain things you've done before. Now if we go to another new page, we'll show you something really cool, and this is template. They have a lot of templates, multiple pages, different kinds, Cornell notes, college notes, ruled bottom, etc. You can sideload in your own templates as well. They have planning, they have creative, they have lifestyle, custom templates. Feel free to add your own templates and really make this unit your own. You do have 4 microphones on board as well, so you can do recordings directly on the note. Hello, I am Peter and I am doing this video. You can click done and you can instantly play it back with the speaker on board. The audio quality is pretty solid as well, which we will show you when we get into the MP3/music player section of it all. From here, you can rename, delete, and details, or you can just collapse it so you have a recording right there at the top of the screen. And this will be on every single page, which I don't quite understand. They should keep it page by page, but it is what it is. If we go to more, you have save, convert to text, add table of contents, a whole bunch of things here. You can even screenshot the current page. Let's do some text conversion to see how accurate it is. So it took about 6 seconds, which honestly isn't terrible, and the beauty about it is that they give you the text right here, from which point you can long press on it and continue typing. Now there's a pretty poor negative point about this unit in that the keyboard's great, but you can't use it. You gotta use the pen. So if I start to write like so, Peter is here, it just takes a long time. It really breaks the muscle memory of using a keyboard because you can't just interact with it. It does have a fair amount of secondary and tertiary keys, which is nice, and multiple languages, as you see right here. Now this next feature comes at a combination of, say, a Supernote meets iReader. This one is one stroke shape, so if I draw a triangle, it's gonna turn into a triangle. If I draw a square, it's a square, and guess what? A circle becomes a perfect circle. So this is really nice that if there is something that doesn't quite meet your standards out of the selectable choices here, you can just take it upon yourself to make your own. Their search function is also incredibly on point. Picture you making 25 notes, using this for years, you got 115 notes, you don't remember where you wrote everything. All you would have to do is select note title and note content, type in something, for example, the time I wrote my name, click search, and oh yeah, after I did that text conversion you saw 5 seconds ago, I wrote my name on that page. So once you click on that, you can actually go over to it and it'll have that data. Of course, there's many ways to transfer files. You can utilize their account, you can utilize the USB port down below, or you can use Wi-Fi transfer. All you would do is start Wi-Fi transfer, have WLAN service enabled, and then all you would do is enter the full address in the browser. You can scan with the QR code, and you can transfer via documents, storage path, my documents via Wi-Fi transfer. Of course, you can go to the Penstar app. When you click on My Account, that'll lead you to your account landing page. You'll see peter@goodereader.com. Feel free to send me an email. From there, you can go over here and go to Notes. You can look at everything that you've done, reading, etc. And on your phone, you can view your notes or your calendar and all of your information on here. You can do the same thing, manage your profile, manage my devices, and it just works seamlessly. This can also be downloaded on your app or a desktop-based client on Windows or Mac. Now with a notepad, it's not too much of an issue to take your notes, etc. But when you get into something like a PDF, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge. For example, I can't just change my pages. Well, I can, but I'd have to go over here to the left and right, and I don't even remember which one. Previous page, next page. So we got previous page and next page. That's great. But you still can't take notes on it right out of the gates. You actually have to click this, which opens up the palette that allows you to mark it up. But when you do, my goodness, this is great. You get a very fine detail and a lot of the features pulled over from the note-taking experience over on this PDF markup engine. You can click X to exit out, and then you can use the pen as kind of capacitive again and flip your pages, etc. You do have a lot of features you can do with PDFs themselves. For example, once you long press, it immediately opens up a dictionary. You can copy, you can pull an excerpt, you can search, and you can hear it.
Summit.
Which is a very, very good thing to have on hand. Not only do you have that speaker, which is very loud, you have the ability to find any text within a PDF and just pull from it like that. So it is a pretty good engine overall, if you can get past the fact that you have to remember where your page keys are, or you have to use the pen to change pages. This is where we get into a really productive note-taking side of things. This is just enough screen real estate to pull this off. You wouldn't want to pull this off on anything less than a 10.3. On the left, you have a document, and on the right, you have a notepad, and you can change this based off of what you want to use as split screen. Another benefit is that this is active right away, and so is that. And that might not seem amazing, but a lot of devices, you actually have to touch it to say, okay, I'm on this side, and then you can move it like so. Same with this, you'd have to touch it first to trigger this side, but it's active, they're both alive. So as you have your notes on the left, you say, okay, well, this is what I have to learn today. Oh, there's 4 players, okay, 4 players on. You can immediately start taking notes, and you get all the benefits of the entire note-taking experience just in a scaled down version. It's almost like having 2 7-inches next to each other glued together, and this split screen is tremendously useful and is pulled off very well. So what do we think about the Penstar? Honestly, it's a breath of fresh air in the lineup of hand-drawn devices that are traditionally quite limiting. Penstar kind of breaks the restrictions that was left by the white label source company themselves. They have English on every single possible menu and sub-menu, making it perfect for the North American and international crowd. They have supporting applications, cloud services, and Android apps that allow for seamless transfer of files to multiple devices. The user manual is easily understandable. There's a feeling of ease after purchasing the product as you're dealing with a more localized and accessible level of customer service. There's just so many reasons to buy the Penstar variant. Them going with a hand-drawn device over something like bigme and ereader was actually a strategic and well-calculated decision, as hand-drawn boasts some of the most unique and strongest selling features of many brands. A great writing experience, massive battery, beautiful screen, and an overall high-value purchase package make the Penstar something to consider if you're looking to go just outside the status quo. Thank you to Penstar for sending us this sample. Thank you to all of our wonderful users who follow us on a daily basis, and for more information, details are down below.